Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Vocal Arts. I'm your host, Peter Barber, professional singer and music producer, and I just had the great pleasure of speaking with bass legend Joe Santoni of DCappella. But before we get into that conversation, guys, these are some of my favorite moments from Joe's amazing career as a bass singer. Check it out.
It's your tradition.
How about a little more baklava? Da, 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 da.
Have some of column A, try all of column B. Wish I could be part
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Vocal Arts, wherever you are watching or listening from. I'm here with the great Joe Santoni, and I'm going to pass it over to him and let him introduce himself real quick.
What's going on? Joe Santoni from Disney's DCappella and a few other things as well.
Yeah, give us a little elevator pitch as to who you are and what you're up to these days.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so I'm currently a session singer and voiceover artist, and then I was for the last 5 years a bass of Disney's acapella group DCappella, and I got to record 5 albums, tour the world, 100 plus singles, 25 music videos. It was quite the journey, and so honored to continue making music in my own capacity through voiceover and behind the scenes like movie production and vocals. So pretty cool.
Fantastic. How did you get involved with DCappella? That's probably the main thing I want to start with first, because that's such a big part of your musical journey as a professional. And I'm so interested to hear how that works, like being a part of the behemoth that is Disney.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So how did you get into that originally? How did that all start?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2018, or I guess it was 2017 when the audition went out, there was a nationwide casting call for a group. Literally, it just said Disney Acapella Group, and nobody really knew what it was. I saw it on Backstage.com, and I was like, you know what? I had been in LA for about 3-4 years at this point, and I was getting really down and kind of defeated, and I was going out for auditions here and there, and nothing was really coming of it. I was bartending at the time, and sure enough, I'm doing that now. But I told my dad about the audition. My dad and I are like best friends. And he was like, Joe, if you don't go for this, what are you doing? That's the whole reason you're out in Los Angeles. I had moved from Michigan when I was 24. And I was like, yeah, but I just don't think I have a chance. And so I went for it. And it was like an hour before the due date. And I submitted it and got a call back, and then a call back, and then a call back. And out of 1,500 people across the nation, I became a recording artist for Walt Disney Records, and my whole career just went. So it was a dream come true and such a magical moment.
That is really amazing. So you submit a virtual audition via Backstage, you said, is how you found out about it. And what did that tape look like? Were you just like, here, I can sing a low C that's epic, like, you guys want to hear me in person, or what?
So pretty much the audition details were come on here, sing, do like scales and go down to your lowest notes, and then it was saying Remember Me from Coco, because they just wanted like a little solo of that. And then it was like, give us a little backstory, tell us about who you are so we can get an idea for your personality. And, I submitted all that. It was about like a 10-minute video. And they just wanted to get to know you. And then the auditions is really where they picked apart the specificities of your voice. So,
yeah, and figure out if you blend with the other singers and if you can learn a part quickly. Was that part of it as well?
Precisely. Yeah. It was definitely, there was like, I think like 40 people in the room, all different voice parts. And this was nationwide, like, so there was one audition in Los Angeles, there was one in New York, and they were doing the audition simultaneously in person with multiple days just for that one audition because there were so many people that they were auditioning. And Deke Sharon was in the room, Jen Rapp, one of the production guys, Jim. Anyway, it was like all the big wigs, and they were just kind of, yeah, peeling the layers of the onion and trying to figure out who we were. And we would like gradually move up if we like passed certain steps. And yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool having Deke there from the start. And he was like one of the writers or producers or arrangers for the group, right? I mean, he was involved the whole time, right?
Oh yeah, he had his like imprint on the group from the get-go. He very much was the co-creator of the group. He was the producer of the group. He was obviously he composed everything, or at least he arranged everything, should I say, because it was all Disney tracks at the end of the day. And yeah, he always wanted to be a part of the creative process, and thankfully allowed the eventual members to very much be a part of that as well. So it was kind of this really nice, like some synchronicity. It was really nice.
Yeah. Was he, because he's one of the fathers of acapella. I mean, did you guys only do Disney music? Was it pure because you're a Disney acapella group? Did you only do Disney, or did Deke write some arrangements that were outside of Disney, or write some like new Disney acapella songs that only you guys did that weren't in the movies or anything like that?
Yes, it would definitely come down to, like, at the end of the day, we were doing Disney music, so that you would always recognize what we were doing, but we would do it with new takes on that Disney music. So say we would do mashups of music that never went together. And we did like a friendship medley where it was like all songs in the Disney catalog that had to do with friendship. And then there was times where we would do like double ups of the same movie, but tracks from it. So like Just Around the River Bend, Colors of the Wind. And there was a villains medley. There was a whole, like, for the first time ever, we did an Epcot medley, which was all songs randomly from Epcot, which just so happens to be like our biggest, most profiting track, which I think is so random and hilarious. Because I was like, I didn't know a single track from Epcot, but sure enough, like the cult Disney followers did.
Yeah, they know every track, probably.
Oh, they are fun folk for sure.
Good. What was the performance schedule like / recording schedule? Like, what was your day to day? I assume it was extremely busy. I assume Disney just likes pumping out material all the time.
Yeah, man, they're definitely we hit the ground running. The first week in which we got into the studio, where we were originally a 14-member group, which was kind of interesting, and not a lot of people know that, because they were thinking about making it into like a touring cast where it was 7 people go this way, 7 people go this way. It's almost like a Disney on Ice thing, where it's just kind of like we're known as like the greater entity of Disney acapella rather than like a band.
Yeah.
And so eventually they realized, no, we want to have this as more of like a vocal band where you know the people, you know the members, and you can look forward to their faces, but then also their music as well. So they changed that. So originally, there's a lot of singers that you know from the 14. There's Jay Nunn from Voice Play was in it. Tracy Robertson was in it. Oh. You're gonna know maybe Connor Smith. I don't know if that rings a bell at all, but yeah, there was a lot of Kiana, who's like huge in New York right now. Bunches of big singers, and they recorded half of the first album with us. So I only did half of the first album, and then JoJo did the other half, which is another very famous bass.
JoJo, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And God, I love JoJo. JoJo and I are like brothers. We love each other.
He's actually he's supposed to come on the podcast as well very soon.
No way.
Yeah.
Tell him hi.
I will.
Yeah, and so there's like and then everything after that, after they decided that, like, from that first week, we recorded an album in 1 week. We shot 3 music videos. That's why I was saying we hit the ground running. Wow. And after that first week, they decided that instead of doing like the A/B cast, they were just going to make one cast, and that's when I recorded everything from there on out.
Okay.
So yeah, the touring schedule, crazy. Sorry.
No, please. That was the other part of the question. Yeah, touring, performing.
Yeah. performing in general, they wanted to just like slam the market with us right off the bat. So we were performing at corporate meetings. We were performing at like huge Disney shareholder meetings where we'd meet like Bob, the CEO. We'd meet all these really, really big folk because we wanted to get the image out there. And so we were churning and burning singles like it was nobody's business. And so I think over the course of 4.5 years, we released over 100 singles, which is crazy because most people maybe release 2 albums in 5 years. We released like 5 cumulatively, but thankfully we already had that library to access.
That's insane. I mean, 100 singles in 5 years is like what, 2 songs a month, like professionally recorded or
Truly.
something like that. Did you
Truly, bro.
Did you
And
guys?
so it was nuts. Huh?
Did you guys go into like a really nice studio space that Disney provided, or did you guys track on your own and send in your vocals? How did that work? How did the actual recording process work?
Totally. So originally we definitely had a nice studio. It was in Burbank, California, and Ed Boyer and Ted Trembinski were
Ed Boyer is the
the two.
mixing genius, dude.
God.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's the mixing god. Everybody goes to Ed Boyer.
Yeah.
Like from the early days of Pentatonics to voice play and everything that comes out now, even like the bass gang and
We
all
use him,
y'all.
yeah.
I know you guys use. Yeah, I know you use him. He is truly the king and always will reign king. And then Ted Trembinski also produced pretty much all of like Citizen Queen and Pentatonics and DCappella and worked on so many of his projects. So it was crazy. Yeah, we would have this beautiful studio. We would go in and one at a time. It would always be me first because they were like, "Well, you're a bass in the morning, so go in there and knock it out." And then so half of the time I'd just be chilling while everybody else is like squelting in the other room.
Yeah. That's so funny. I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah.
James Gammon. He's a really big acapella mixer and producer at the college level. So we recorded with him in Charlottesville, Virginia. We'd go in, same thing. It would be, I think we wouldn't use the whole group, which was usually like 15 guys for a college acapella group. We'd use like 2-person per part. But I remember always we'd go out in Charlottesville the night before Harrisonburg so that I could get up and sing like the really low bass stuff first thing in the morning when we start recording.
Totally. Yeah, that's literally what it was because half the time, so Deke knew I could hit, these stupid low notes, and obviously you can as well. And it's like, so he was always like, okay, let's take advantage of that fact. So most of the parts that were written for DCappella, there was at least a B flat in every song. It was like, It was so utilized that I was just like, okay, let's do it. Like, and in Into the Unknown, there's this part where I'm just like burping low A's one after another, and it's just like, and I had to do it in tour, so it's not like I ever had a moment off from it.
That's
every
insane.
night. And then, yeah, I think the lowest note I hit in the group was an F sharp.
One.
Would it be a 0? Yeah. See, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. F sharp 0? Yeah.
Right. Like below the end of the piano.
No, am I thinking wrong? So
F sharp 1. F sharp 1.
Middle, C 3, 2, 1. Yeah, F sharp 1. You're right.
F sharp 1's like that's like the low end of the low bass chest range usually.
Exactly. Where I'm just burping.
Low A's in live performance. I mean, to have that reliably, that's rare. You're gifted, my friend. For real.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I actually have a very similar upbringing as you as far as college goes. Like I also have a degree in opera and I study classical music.
I scanned the bio that you had on DCappella, and that's on my list to chat with you about that, the classical background.
Cool.
So we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, we got plenty of time. Okay, so crazy performance schedule, crazy recording schedule. I mean, how did those balance? I mean, would it be like you'd be out on tour for a week and you'd come back and the next morning you're in the studio like recording the next single? I mean, because I don't know what the release schedule is like. That's actually another part of this question. How long from when you recorded it would they like make the official release to all their platforms and everything?
the thing about Disney was that it was always like go, 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 go. So a lot of the time we would record a song. There was even times where we had like a week turnaround where they were just like, okay, we're going to record it and release it right off the bat. And so because they would try to meet up with synergy opportunities where there was an anniversary or there was a celebration or a whatever, or a movie release, like for The Incredibles 2, we sang 4 tracks on the album. And Michael Giacchino personally was granted us the wish to like, hey, we want you to do the character themes of Elastigirl, Mr. Incredible, and like 2 of the other themes that were in it, Glory Days, and whatever. So we turned that around within 2 seconds. Deke was always like, all right, you need this arrangement, done, go. We'll churn and burn it. And it was some of the most complex writing, but yeah, we had to make the soundtrack release. And so thankfully we got on it, and that was a really cool moment. So it was always pretty grueling, but it was fun because it challenged us in new and exciting ways that I had never been challenged before.
Yeah.
So,
I assume there wasn't like a normal work day for you guys, right? I mean, it was all based around performance and recording, mostly rehearsals. I'm sure you rehearsed a lot for tour, that kind of thing.
Definitely rehearsed. Yeah. Yeah. Not like a normal work day. A normal work day for us was, there would always be an event or something we'd go to, or a recording day, or never really just like a rehearsal day, or like we would obviously have rehearsal days when it came up to tour, or we'd like spend, maybe like a couple hours just kind of like finding our sound that day, seeing where everybody was at vocally, and then we'd move into whatever else we had going on. But a lot of the time it'd be us visiting like different, like say we would go to Disneyland for a one-off performance and then book it to Burbank to go record something, and then we go somewhere, so it'd be really sporadic.
Yeah. That sounds, was there, because Disney is this huge, like perfect machine of movies and music and content. I mean, I've loved Disney since I have any memory. I've loved Disney music and loved Disney movies.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of, did you feel the pressure of working under such an enormous name? And like, was there any pressure from the top to be like, these songs have to be perfect because it's Disney?
Yeah. Most definitely. There was always this idea of it needs to be perfect. There was always this like expectation, and that's understandable, because this is truly, like such a massive company that has left such an imprint on everybody across the world.
Yeah.
And so the catalog of music that Disney has curated is legendary. And so naturally they want to be very respectful of the original image and like sound. And so as much as we wanted to push and pull and tug and twist the strings of the overall Disney catalog, we had to respect it. And so we weren't able to go outside of the bounds as much as we wanted to. The group would definitely try, and now that the group is over, I can speak more freely on it, but the group was definitely always trying to reinvent the wheel in ways, but Disney would always have pushback because they had to. And so, like, for instance, there's this line at the end of Supercalifragilistic, where I forget what I said. It was like something like, once I had a girl and now that girl's my wife. I wanted to change it once I had a man and now that man's my husband, because coming from me, I'm a gay man.
Yeah.
And so badly I wanted to change that. And I recorded it. I sent it off to Ed Boyer. He was like, great. Darren Sheik or Deke Sharon. I used his Facebook. He was like, great. And then it got to the Disney execs and they were like, nope, bye.
Nope, bye.
Re-record it. Yep.
Yeah.
Things like that. Even like pushing, being a part of the queer community, pushing certain things like wearing earrings. At times, I was a moment on our Circle of Life. He lives in new music video movie set. And I had to fight for wearing a dangly earring, because to them, it was just like, oh, that might come across a little. But But that
Oh,
was just coming from overly protective people within the company that were just trying to like, we just don't want, to get it to get shut down. But it
yeah.
all ended up being okay. The earring is in the music video. It's all fine, but they were just always trying to respect yeah. They've
Okay.
come a long way from, I mean, now they allow tattoos at the park. Not that that's anything astronomical, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. What an incredible experience. I was actually just rewatching a couple of the music videos just before this chat. And I mean, those are some like very high budget acapella music videos. I mean,
Yeah,
like I
man.
don't know, I don't know any other acapella groups, maybe Pentatonics th-
Pentatonics, yeah.
that does videos on that scale.
Thankfully, Mickey is very rich.
Yeah, Mickey's got money for sure.
So, no, definitely it was such an honor to be for such a huge conglomeration and like the budget that they had to curate these music videos. Like, God, there was some really, really cool ones where I think like our Descendants music video, as much as like the Descendants music video, like I thought the set looked incredible. Like what they kind of did with it to alter it for the music video made it look a little cheaper than it actually was. But it was
Mm,
like foggy floors, like huge, massive LCD screens like behind us. And it was just like we were in like dressy designer, sparkly boots, and like full get ups. And there was like lasers. It was this just like madness. And I was like, I'm doing it. It
yeah,
felt
that's
cool.
I feel like being on a music video set it's my favorite feeling in the world,
Yeah.
personally. I
Yeah.
mean, if you like the cameras and you like performing, I mean, there's nothing cooler than doing a music video for
Totally.
real.
I mean, and yeah, you kind of feel like a star. You're like, oh, I'm
100%.
somebody.
100%.
It's definitely cool, and it's just yeah, nothing's gonna replace that feeling. That was just like such a fun moment in my life, and I'm so grateful for it. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely very cool.
For the Cantina Band video, what was that Star Wars set? Was that a set from the movie? Was it a set from the parks? Did they build that set for the music video and get like hundreds of extras to come in and like what was
So
the deal with that?
so funny thing about that music video, it's actually very unique because that music video was shot at Oga's Cantina at Disney World, and
Okay.
we had to go through so many like hoops and obstacles to be able to achieve that because nobody had ever shot anything within Oga's Cantina unless it was promotional for Oga's Cantina. Like, are you familiar with like the bar that they have there at the Star
No,
Wars
I
World?
that it is on my list to get there because I've never been.
Yeah, man. So it's so cool. It's one of the only of like two places aside from like Club 33 that you can go to within Disneyland where you can actually drink. And so in the back of this
Okay.
place, it's like full Star Wars themed Oga's Cantina where they play the original Cantina band based on from the movies.
Mhm.
And we are now the only person that has ever shot a music video in that location ever. And so it's super dope. We had a ton of hired extras. I think that was probably our biggest budget music video. Because
That
we
makes
had like
sense.
Antonio Fernandez was like a holographic, like little
Yeah.
Jedi. It was
Yeah.
the coolest thing. Yeah,
What are
definitely very cool. So yeah, that one was neat.
What are some of your favorite overall experiences working with Disney and maybe some of your favorite songs that you got to record, favorite arrangements? Just a few like big highlights from your time with them.
Yeah, man. Uh, you know, Probably the biggest, like, most cool things was like getting to sing on the Incredibles 2 soundtrack was amazing. Getting to perform at the Hollywood Bowl is our second ever performance ever.
Wow.
We got to perform at a sold out audience at the Hollywood Bowl, and we opened for Beauty and the Beast live, where they did a full orchestral version of the Beauty and the Beast score with live reenactment of the show on stage with Rebel Wilson and Tay Diggs and Zoe Deschanel, and we just did that all. And we
Wow.
were there.
That's so cool.
It was so yeah, bro. It was so dope. American Idol was our first ever performance live. Um, so that was super cool. They just threw us into the fire, and we were like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for real.
I
For real.
literally, I literally had sung a cappella in college before this. And after that, I had sung maybe like I love singing in professional choirs, but like singing on a mic in a professional a cappella setting was my first time. It was my first time ever. It was my first time ever. And they were like, we're going to put you on American Idol. I was like, okay.
Yeah, here's what 40 million people on live TV or
Literally.
something crazy.
With Ryan Seacrest being like 3, 2, 1. All right, we're on camera. It was like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, bro. Other things that was amazing, just like shooting music videos, getting to mingle with the Disney legends. So like Susan Egan, like the voice of Meg from Hercules, and like
Yeah.
why am I drawing a blank on her name? She's a legend. The voice of Little Mermaid. Paige O'Hara, the voice of
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And just being able to, and some of my favorite arrangements that we ever did, we did this dope version. And it's very un-acapella, but like the way that pentatonics kind of goes so far off from acapella that it
yeah.
Prince Ali we did a version of, and it is so dope. We made it like full dubstep.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. The music video is actually really cool too. Prince Ali. We did a mashup of Just Around the River Bend, Colors of the Wind, but it was actually arranged by R.J. Westner, one of the tenor in our group. And it's probably one of our more complex arrangements, and it's so good. That one's amazing. Truly, Eye to Eye was a lot of fun to shoot because we were in the studio with Deke, kind of arranging it on the spot.
Nice.
So there's moments in it where like I am able to say like, oh, Orlando did this part, RJ did this part, I did this part, you know?
Yeah.
It was really cool. So, and then touring, I fell in love with Japan. Japan is now like a second home to me. Getting to meet and see and love all the people that supported us over the years. It was just the most magical experience, and people that still follow me to this day and like hit me up or like every one of my posts or whatever. It's just like I created a fan base and also friends that I, truly love and, hold dear. And so it was just so magical.
Japan is way up on my list of places to go. I've never been.
You need to go tomorrow. Bro, it is the coolest place. The people, the culture, the food.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Fantastic. Okay. I'll be seriously looking at that in the next couple years. Try to
my God.
over there. I'll hit you up for recommendations of what to do. Also, I don't know if you know this. I produce a lot of heavy electronic and like dubstep kind of music.
No way. Do you really?
Yeah, straight up.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
You're man of many trades.
I went to school at University of Miami, and so I got exposed to like heavy electronic music there because there's so many concerts in Miami for electronic music. And so I kind of deviated from opera for a while and like got really into producing electronic music, and then found my way back to opera, which is kind of my main thing now. But also when the pandemic hit, I started getting back into production. So I've been producing more lately of like my own stuff, and I'll do these covers that are basically bass vocal leads, a lot of vocal harmonies like we do in the Bass Gang, plus like heavy electronics, heavy drum sampling, and orchestration. They're these like big epic covers.
That's so dope.
Yeah, it's super fun.
So cool. I'm gonna have to check this out. Obviously, I can find it through all your channels and your Instagram and all that.
Yeah, I just put out an album when did it come out? It came out like 3 months ago. It's called Metamorphosis, and it's all that style, like covers with all these elements added to it.
Oh my God. That is so cool.
It's cool. It's fun. Yeah.
What a man of many trades. I feel like that is, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like classical music majors, we're such nerds in 100%. Our love 100%. Of like every detail of what music can offer. And so we kind of just want to like, there's so many facets. That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, it's radically different from opera.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love classical music, but at the end of the day, I would listen to EDM all day. You
Yeah.
know, like it's
I'm very similar.
yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you.
This was all to say, I love it when acapella groups throw like a legit drop or like a trap beat. Voice play is incredible at this. They have some songs with phenomenal trap beats that come out of nowhere, and every time I just geek out. I'm like,
Me too.
yes, this is
Yeah.
it.
Are you aware of like most of Pentatonic's like discography?
Yeah, I know a lot of this
Yeah,
stuff.
there's like God, there's this one beat that Kevin does in the second EP that they ever released, and I think it's a God. What is the name of it?
What's the EP? Yeah, I could.
PTX Volume 2.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like classic Pentatonics. Let's see.
Oh, your camera disappeared while you're searching.
I'm so sorry. I'm like scrolling through my phone. It's called Love Again, and
Yeah,
he does this
track
like
3. I got it here.
yeah,
Okay,
he does this,
sick.
like I call it like this like pig nosed beat. And like when the beat drops in like mid, like, you know, like right in the middle of the song. It's
Yeah.
so dope. And I'm like, every time they add EDM elements to an acapella song, I'm like, this is the nerdiest thing ever, but I'm obsessed.
100%.
Yeah. So Prince Ali, check that out. And then we did
Okay.
this random dance version of Hi Ho, which is so ridiculous, but
Oh
it's
my,
incredible.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to your like training, your background and training and stuff. Like what you, because you said you'd studied classically, you even trained as an opera singer. So like where'd you go to school? What did you study? And how did that eventually, let's jump the gap between kind of when you started undergrad and when you got to DCappella.
Yeah.
Let's kind of go through that transformation.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna even start before college and go to high school. Because I didn't know I could sing. I had no idea. I didn't discover a voice within myself. Like I did middle school choir, and it was kind of like one of those things where you have to. And I think I was like full blown, no balls dropped soprano, and I was singing up there in the rafters with the sopranos and the ladies, and they were like, "Why are you up here?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so I remember, you know, graduating from middle school and then getting into high school, and I had to choose an elective, and I was like, I hate PE, so I'm not going to do gym class. And at the time I was like blossoming into the gay man that I am now. So I was like the whole fear of like going into the gym locker room and seeing boys. I was like, I can't do it. So I was like, I don't want to choose any other elective like art. So I went with choir because I had known it. And my choir director, her name was Carly Ketchman at the time. And I absolutely fell in love with her. She was just the biggest inspiration in my entire life. And I just wanted to I just wanted to become the best singer there ever was after that point. Like I wanted to catch them all. And she truly found this voice within me. And my mom was a professional vocalist, and she was like a beautiful like theater singer. And but she passed away when I was like 7, so I never really got to. Yeah, I never really got to know that craft of hers. And my dad and her were both radio broadcasters, and so my dad to this day is still in 40 years with Detroit radio. And so I always had this like, obviously this timbre and this voice, but I didn't know I could do something with it. So she found this voice. I ended up being like her go-to bass singer. And then I was like, after I graduated, I was like, I don't know what to do. She was like, Joe, if you don't go with voice, like you're missing out on something so huge for yourself. So I followed her exact footsteps. I went off to college to pursue singing in any respect. I wanted to either go for theater, classical, whatever. And I went with classical because she was like, truly there, you're going to find the foundations of singing and music and the voice, and and that technique will never go away. Yep. And I'm sure you can understand that very much so.
Yeah, and it strengthens your voice so much too.
So much. Yeah. It's so useful, that technique. I mean, I'm sure you use like things that you learned from college to this day. I mean, it's so very important. Yeah. So I went to college and got into the vocal performance degree, and I got my bachelor's in that. And I studied classical with this guy named John Paul White, and he was like He would sing with Sam Raimi all the time, and all these
God, Sam Raimi,
huge
one of the
Sam
kings.
Raimi. I
Yeah,
know,
one of the kings.
a king.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my biggest inspiration during that time was Bryn Terfel. I always thought
He's
that he was
phenomenal.
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 And I
Absolutely
always
phenomenal.
considered myself more of a bass baritone than I did like a true bass, but it wasn't because I couldn't hit the notes. It's just that I had this upper register that I wanted to utilize.
Sure.
And so I definitely pursued that with John Paul, switched teachers to this girl named Edie, and she found this new voice within me. And then I graduated and I was like, well, what do I do now? And my best friend I met in like junior year, and she was this like holistic medicine degree person. Her name's Christina. She's my best friend. And she was like, I'm moving to California. I was like, cool, me too.
Cool, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, so I went for it. I just like on a whim. I didn't have anything lined up. I was just like, shoot, I'm gonna figure it out. And yeah. I went out there and I just kind of nestled my way into auditioning and found a place, and it was great. And I would go out for these things randomly. And my first ever gig in California was something called acapella, something that I'm not proud
of. It sounds great.
Oh yeah. We were we were the Chippendales of acapella.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, very sexy. I feel like you could easily be a member of this group. Just such a handsome gentleman.
Did you guys have Do you guys have a calendar that my fans can purchase?
Yeah, it's literally just me with my cheeks out, and I'm like, no.
Perfect. There's even an audio file that comes with it. It's just you singing down to a low B flat.
That's right. Damn it. You press a button on the
yeah,
it
just goes down.
Yeah. So ridiculous. But so yeah, Acapella was literally labeled as like kind of like the Chippendales.
Oh my goodness.
And so
for
we
real.
would like sing shirtless at these huge corporate events. It was so ridiculous. And the first gig we ever did was at James Cameron's house.
No way.
Yes way. It was nuts. It was at James Cameron's house in the Malibu Hills mansion, just like 5 levels of security to get up there because his wife wanted some singers to come sing at their little dinner party. And I was like, what is my life? Yeah, bro. Yeah. And so we went, we did this, and it was amazing. I was like, I don't know what my life is. This is only something that would happen in LA. But
for sure.
Anyway, sorry, I'm going to wrap this up. The music director of Acapella was a guy named Michael Alfera. And Michael Alfera was in charge of this group called the LA Choral Lab. And LA Choral Lab is this really professional choir out here in LA that is full of session vocalists, like people that sing on film and TV, and voiceover artists and composers. Ben Bram was a member of this group. Rob Dietz was a member of this group. Mm-hmm. Tracy Robertson, Aaron Bentlitz from Sage, who is now a Grammy award-winning group. Baraka May, Fletcher Sharon, all these huge singers. And so I got into this group, and I still am a part of it. And it opened up every door possible. And because of that, I got in the audition with Ben Bram for I was in the top 8 to become the next bass of Pentatonics. And
wow.
Yeah, man. It was so dope. And so Antonio Fernandez, the beatboxer, was randomly in that top 8. Matt Salee.
Yep.
Elliot Robinson. Yeah, no,
that's a low ass voice. That's a low ass voice right there. Good Lord.
I'm like, how?
How?
Yeah. The man like talks in F sharps.
I finally met him actually. He came on the podcast, and he's done a song with the Bass Gang. Mm-hmm. And he sometimes has work in Phoenix, which is where I live. So he came over in I think it was in the fall or the spring maybe, but we went out and got coffee together. Yeah. And it's always so cool to meet people in person that you've worked with, or that you've done an episode like this with. Like, hopefully Bobby and I are going to see you when we come out to LA in October.
In a heartbeat. When do y'all come in?
we're gonna be there. We're not sure exactly the dates yet. Bobby's getting out here to Phoenix October 16th, and we have to
Okay.
be in LA on the 22nd for Imagine Dragons. And so we're probably gonna come for a few days before and after that concert and hang out.
That's literally perfect. I'm in Thailand from October 1st to the 18th. So after that, I'm back.
Oh, sick.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's gonna work out perfectly.
Fantastic.
But yeah, whenever you meet those people that you admire, that people that you just know through the world, it's
Yeah.
so cool. Like, and especially if they're cool people. If they're
Yeah.
losers, then it kind of sucks.
It's not so great, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's I actually want to wind back to your classical training just because that's still such a big part of what I do. Did
Yeah.
you sing any roles? Do you remember any repertoire that you were working on in the classical world from when you were an undergrad?
Totally. Totally. I sang in Johnny Skiki by Puccini.
What'd you sing?
Simone.
I just did that at the Aspen Music Festival.
No way. That's
Fun
crazy.
role. Really fun role.
Such a fun role. It's
Yeah.
so great to be like an old crusty man, just like an old disgruntled.
That's what we basses do, you know?
Yeah, we
That's
always
what we
got.
basses do.
We're kingly or we're ancient
Ancient, kingly, or like the devil
or the devil.
or something.
Perfect. My
Which are all great.
personality. Yeah.
All great to play. Okay, so Simone, what
Simone.
else did you do?
I did Guglielmo from the
Così fan
Così fan
tutte?
tutte.
Great role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great role.
Also the noun.
You think that one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. It was either going to be Guglielmo or Don
Alfonso.
Alfonso.
I've done that one as well.
Crazy.
Done like 30. I've done like 30 roles at this point.
Bro, I've done 3.
Yeah. Well, that's I kept on it another decade after you pivoted.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like opera. I would sing another opera. It was so fun. I love theatrical singing. Like I love singing on a stage, and I love a production. I think it's so fun.
Yeah.
I think the thing that scares me the most is remembering lines. That's just terrifying to me.
There's a lot of them in opera.
So much.
There's a lot of the recits are, especially those big Italian Mozart roles.
Oh my god,
like endless recit. Like I've done Don Giovanni, which has so much recit. Figaro and Le Nozze di Figaro has so much recit. Don Alfonso has so much recit. Guglielmo has so much recit.
So much.
Yeah.
It's so wordy, and it's like it's almost like the recit is patter, you know, where it's like there's
Pretty
just
much.
so much.
Yeah, and you want it to sound fluent. You want it to sound fluent and really roll off the tongue clearly. And yeah, you got to get it in your bones, or you're in trouble.
Oh my god, man!
Real.
Yeah, you would know it best, like for sure. It was such a cool part of my journey, and I'm glad I have it. I did another thing. I did a Mall in the Night Visitors, which is very small.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't done the show though.
Yeah, it was who did I do?
Balthazar,
one of
maybe?
the 3 ones.
Okay.
Yes. Wow.
Balthazar.
You know it better than I do, and you haven't even performed in it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I did one musical. Have you ever done any musicals?
I haven't actually musical. I've done a little bit of Golden Age musical rep and like recitals and stuff, but I've never done a musical.
Yeah. No way. Even in high school?
No, I was all sports in high school.
Really?
Yeah, sports.
Oh my God.
Sports always
That's
took
why
over.
You're such a lady killer.
Stop it, Joe. Stop it.
That's funny. I did the Sick Man. So
Okay.
Golden Age theater. Obviously,
Yeah.
when we used to be important in theater. But yeah, the guy that there's like a barbershop quartet in that musical, and I think the low bass of the quartet, and just said ice cream, and that was it. That was literally I said ice cream.
Have you done any classical stuff since moving to LA? I mean, the choir you're in, I assume, does some classical.
Most definitely.
Right.
Yeah, the choir does everything from new compositions to Renaissance, and I mean, I think we did Gregorian chant like for something.
Okay.
And it's definitely so fun to go back to my roots, and I love singing classical music. I have done some solo classical rep, but it's been mostly for like church performances and like little things that have come here for like church gigs. Um, but truly like flexing more of musical theater I've done than I have my classical.
Hmm.
Because my voice has always been very like I can channel that classical sound, but it lends itself more towards like kind of like classical Broadway. So like what is it called? What was the in between? Like operettas, that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Operetta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like my voice is very Josh Groban-y.
Is it a color thing? Like there's a brightness to it that is better for that kind of rep than it is for the operatic stuff.
I would say, you know, I can channel it, but it's not my like authentic voice at the end of the day, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to be flexible, and but if classical entered my life again, I'd take it up in a heartbeat.
Have you ever auditioned or worked with the LA Master Chorale?
I haven't. The opportunity is there. I want to audition. I'm scared shitless. Uh, LA Master, excuse me, LA Choral Lab, my group, has many crossover members.
Yeah.
And so does Tonality, the other group that I'm a part of. And it's definitely the next step, but I hate sight reading. But I'm okay
Yeah.
at it. I just don't like I don't like being put on the spot. So auditioning is a little scary to me, but I should do it because there's so many opportunities that lie within that as well.
Sight read auditions are pretty terrifying. I never liked them.
Terrifying.
I never liked them either. I was always fine at sight reading. Not great, not bad,
Yeah.
but I hated that part of the audition.
Bro,
Absolutely hated it.
I know. It doesn't help that I kind of slacked in oral skills, but you know, like it's so definitely something I should like polish up so that I can, because it's like that's kind of the peak of like choral singing in the LA area, and so I just want to cross that boundary.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I know a lot of LA opera chorus people cross between that and master chorale, and you change the technique a little bit, but at the end of the day, both, you have to have good training for both. The choir,
Yes.
and I'm sure you found this in your experience too, is much more, it's more ensemble based. It's much more about blend. Like I was in the top choir of my undergrad, which was actually it was a really good school for choir. And so the group was really good. There were a bunch of busted voices in there, but incredible choir singers because they could blend and they could sight read and they could do what the group needs to do. Like sometimes the big solo voices don't work so well in a choir ensemble because it's all about blend and texture, you know.
100%. Yeah, I mean, very, very, very true. There was like some of the best opera singers that we had in our program at the time did not fit into the choir because they just did not mesh well.
Yeah.
And it was like they were always a soloistic singer in a choir, and it was like, girl, that vibrato needs to chill.
Yeah, turn it
off. You know, like so yeah, no, you definitely it takes a different muscle, but the training is all very similar. You know, like the technique is similar in the way that you need to create the sound.
Yeah. Breath support goes with every genre.
Every genre. Yeah. You know, unfortunately, with a lot of musical theater, and I'm sure you've seen this, people lose their voice right away if they're not using proper technique. And
you can't be belting your face off without supporting.
With something.
With something there. Yeah.
Right? Like just girl from the diaphragm, not from the throat. You know, it's
the throat will not last long.
No, it won't.
This is just the air just needs to go through here, but you don't use this really.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, we'll have like 50 veins popping out. Yeah.
Can't have that. Can't have that. All right. One more question before we do a couple of questions from Patreon right at the end.
Yeah.
Also in your bio, apparently you have performed with the Symphony of the Gods.
Yeah, bro.
For Zelda, which as a huge nerd, that is like the coolest thing in the world. And I would love to hear about that experience. And also, some of the best music ever written, I swear to God, comes from like Zelda and other video games.
Final Fantasy is my #1 video game of all time. Yeah, that's why I was wearing that shirt. Nobuo Uematsu is a legend. But going back to Zelda, that was part of LA Core Lab. and we were commissioned to come and perform at the concert. And it was, I'm a huge nerd. I played, Zelda, SNES, to Nintendo 64, Ocarina of Time, and then
Dude,
everything.
that's where I started, and I'm 30. I just turned 31. I don't know if we're similar age, but
I'm 33, so I'm like a couple years older than you. But
okay, so
same era.
my brother's 34, so we're right in there. And yeah, I remember we got an N64 in like 1997 ish, and we were playing. I think Ocarina came out in like 97 or 98, and that was our game. Like
Yeah.
and it took us forever to beat as kids. Took forever.
Yeah, fuck that water temple.
The water temple. Yeah. Probably still hard to beat.
I'm sorry, my language, but
that's okay.
But yeah, no, bro. That game was like, it was legendary. I mean, it still is.
Yeah.
And the music is legendary. Like the themes are like the themes of our life in so many ways because we know them so like the back of our hand. And so being able to go at the Dolby Theater where they do like the Oscars a lot of the time, the Grammys they've done there, and to perform at a sold out audience of just the biggest nerds in LA. They're all there with their get up on and their master swords and their fake fairies on their shoulder. It was so phenomenal. It was dope. It was we were at full orchestra, and then we had the choir, and we sang, I think probably like 15, 20 songs. I forget, somewhere in there. And every classical or classic medley or melody, why I can't talk, classic melody from that game we performed. And like the Song of Storms, we got to perform like Epona's song. We got to perform.
Did they add vocals to it? Because those aren't, I don't think vocals are in the original.
They're not. We would add in like little choral bits. And Zelda's Lullaby, which Voctave, or not Voctave, just recorded. We did that. It was mind-blowing because there was moments where you could just see the audience being like on the edge of their seat, and they would like there was audience participation moments where we would like have them scream like yeah, or like whatever, like during it. And it was so cool. So that was definitely next level. And ever since then, I'm a huge gamer, just like you. I want to sing on more video game stuff and do that voiceover work, especially. I would love to become a video game character.
I'm hoping I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring sometime soon for voicing animated stuff, because I think I have that skill. I'm very good with voices, very good with accents, very good at imitating weird characters, especially like bassy stuff. Yeah. And like I cannot imagine how cool it would be to be like a voice on like Avatar: The Last Airbender, like that kind of show. Like that'd be the coolest thing in the world, for real.
You know Topher?
Yeah. Oh my God, so talented.
So talented.
What an incredible singer.
Topher is a good buddy of mine, and he's like now crushing it in the VO world. And he, he's a big old nerd too. And I think he has a lot of projects in the work where he's going to be working on like video game stuff and animated series and like
amazing.
So he signed to this really, really great voiceover agency, and I just kind of like admire him, and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be me one day. And I know I'm like audition all the time, and it's definitely like I've gotten a few things, but it's such a hard industry.
Really competitive. Yeah.
Everybody and their mother thinks they have a voice.
Yeah.
And it's been brutal at times, but at the same time, when it's rewarding, it's so rewarding. So you just got to like make your way in, get those agents, get the connections, and you find your way.
Are you just submitting on Backstage? Is that where you're looking for voiceover work?
I have an agent, and not an agent. I have what is that? I'm signed to a
manager label.
Help. Yeah. And she gives auditions from a lot of the higher up kind of like casting agencies. And so thankfully I can go through her for those. And then there's other websites like Voices 123. That is really huge for that, for people that want to do it on their own.
I think JoJo's getting into it or gotten into it because that was one of the main things. I reached out to him on Instagram because he posted some stories about some VO project he was working on. I was like, hey dude, I'd love to pick your brain about how you got into this. And I was like, why don't we we'll just make it an episode. Just
Yeah.
come on and I'll pick your brain about voiceover work. So he must also be it seems like some bases are moving towards doing more voiceover work.
Our voice part is so unique and rare that when we should utilize it in all aspects, especially if we have like the talents.
100%.
So that's the website he uses as well. I asked him the same exact thing. I was like, what did you? And he was like, yeah, voices 1, 2, 3. You have to like do this like subscription service, which is kind of like, pay for play, which is no fun, but it offers you more opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's booked everything through that.
Fantastic. All right, we're gonna move into a few Patreon questions, and then we'll get you out of here.
Cool.
I asked them. It's on me. I asked them a little too. I asked them like yesterday, so only a couple people have responded.
Wow.
which is on me, but we have a couple enthusiastic people. Okay, Amanda Knott. She has a number of questions for you. So you know what? We're just gonna go through all of them.
Let's do it.
If we've answered them before, you can just kind of rehash what we talked about.
Sure.
Which usually happens because we cover a lot when we have these chats. Okay.
Yeah.
First question. It sounds like you've been singing a long time. When did you figure out you were a bass singer as opposed to a baritone or a tenor?
Got you. So that would be high school. That would definitely be when like puberty hit hard, and my vocal coach or my vocal teacher, my choir teacher, found this voice within me and was like flexing my range, and we'd do little one-on-one vocal lessons where she'd be like, okay, wow, you're down there. And it really did hit overnight. Like my voice was cracking and cracking and cracking, and then one night it just dropped, and I was hitting low C's in high school, and it was crazy. And it's only expanded because bass singers only expand lower with age, and we truly don't develop into our voice at least until 35 and further, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
And so she helped discover it in high school.
But you were obviously a bass once you dropped.
Once I dropped, I was always that stubborn bass that didn't want to be a bass because I loved to sing high.
Oh. If you're singing low C's in high school, I mean, that's bass world. That's bass world.
I know. I had to accept my fate. Eventually, and it was, I mean, obviously now I'm very grateful, but she would always like bounce me around from baritone because I also had an extended range to where I could like play around with that. But I settled into my deep
high school
deep bass.
Deep bass. Okay, next question. Does DCappella do strictly acapella, or do you end up mixing in some instruments or beats?
There has been 0 moments where we've incorporated instruments, unless for a live performance where there's been an orchestra or something behind us.
Yeah.
We have definitely done some vocal manipulation in the studio, where, like, say for Prince Ali, like the one you're about to go check out, please, because it's so cool.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Where we've manipulated voices through technology to create definitely more like dubby kind of things and like more EDM aspects to it. But at the end of the day, it is our voice. It's just manipulated with a computer, but that's only very rarely. And most of the time, Deke is very prideful on trying to stay authentically a cappella.
Okay. I actually have to piggyback off that on the dubstep thing. When I was in my undergrad and I was music director, I did a lot of the arrangements for the group, and that was also in my like heavy producing electronic like first few years of that. So what I did was we did Drag Me Down by One Direction. Yeah. I produced a full dubstep remix of it and then arranged that dubstep remix for voice.
That's awesome.
So that's on our EP Prototype, I think from 2016.
Oh, I have to listen to that. That's cool.
It was cool.
Send me some things that you're like proud of that I should.
Okay, I will. That was just like a ding, ding, ding moment. Okay, cool. Yeah. Next question. Can you name a favorite character or commercial you voiced? I know that's probably a hard question to answer. Like, which child is your favorite? I don't know how much character or commercial voice work you've done, but if you have any
I
favorites.
really haven't. I really haven't. I've done some commercial work just for like advertisements, for like pharmaceutical things, like stuff that like is really. So I can't say that I have a favorite voice that I've charactered in VO yet. But through Disney, like doing Maui from Moana, that was a lot of that was a fun moment. But yeah, no, nothing just yet. We're trying to still
nothing yet
make way. Oh yeah, no, it's gonna happen.
When you come back on the podcast, you'll have some favorites.
Amen.
Now, this next question is about DCappella. Is the group, is it still together, or did it disband, or did you just leave? What's the situation? Because that affects this question.
Yeah, the group disbanded.
Okay.
It kind of folded like last 2023 April is when the band ended. Our contract was over, and it was they had the option of extension. We weren't doing great in the States. We were doing huge in Asia, and so they always, for some reason, wanted to really focus on like being successful in the United States, and that wasn't really happening. So it just kind of like naturally ended.
Okay.
It was a very.
She was asking if you hope to continue singing with them, basically.
I mean, they all live in LA except for one member, and so to get back together with them just for fun would be amazing.
You could fire it up, and that wouldn't be like a breach of intellectual property or anything.
Unless we're singing unless we're recording and singing Disney music, probably not.
Like the same arrangements for the group or something like that.
Yeah. Fair. We did our own music and we were just wanting to sing together, that's our own thing. Like that's not there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, one more question. This is from Brianne Partington. Those first few were from Amanda Knott. What was it like to work with Deke Sharon during her time at DCappella? We talked about this some, but yeah, what's Deke like? What's his style? How is he to work with in the studio? Maybe some details about that kind of thing.
Yeah, Deke is he's a whiz. He is a big old geek, and Deke is a geek. He is like a kid at heart. That's the best way I can put it. He just has this like boundless energy, and everything he pours into his music is just like from his heart. He really truly just wants to spread music across the world, and he is a great guy, very sweet, very energetic, and like his arrangement style, he is very much he does do a lot of he does kind of stray away from the original, but he also loves to stay true to the original. So you'll notice in a lot of his arrangements, he really is just doing a reduction of what it was. And he can effortlessly do that in like a night. He is so quick at hearing a piece of music and creating a cappella out of it. Now, whereas Ben Bram and say other famous a cappella arrangers like Rob Dietz or whoever, I'm not really well versed in the arranger world. They truly manipulate and they reinvent and kind of like create, they obviously stay true to what the original song is, but they make it fun and new and exciting. And Deke is such a master at creating an exact copy, but with voice. And it's, I love and appreciate both styles because they take different skill sets.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. He always wanted to be involved. He was very involved. And it was really, really cool.
Every a cappella person I've talked to that's worked with Deke says very similar things. Just like great guy, genius, quick turnaround, like all these skill sets, especially these skill sets you need in something like DCappella when they're like, hey, we got to do this thing like now, like like turn it around. That's
always how it was, and he was like, sure, and he would do it.
Whatever.
I'd be like, okay, I would freak out. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Any final words to the people watching and the fans out there?
Just thank you. Thank you for following along. Thank you for listening to this. I'm so grateful for my opportunity to do DCappella. I'm so grateful to you, and thank you for having me on here. I'm so excited to now consider you a friend, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. And create music with you. I would love to sometime.
Yeah. Oh, we have got to fire up something with the bass gang.
Are you doing new Bobby bass thing that has a lot of bass vocalists on it. I don't want to like say anything, and then
Bobby. Yeah, Bobby has. He was talking to me about firing up some. I can't remember what he was saying, but yes, Bobby and I are going to be doing something. I don't have all the details.
Okay, it was already recorded, so you probably already would have sang on it.
Oh, then no, I'm not on it.
Oh, damn. All right.
It's okay. It's okay. Bobby and I are doing a song very soon together, and then we've got the whole Bass Gang EP coming out. Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of fun stuff.
Oh yeah,
happening, and like so many great people to collaborate with. You know, there's always projects, meetings, new things, and I love that the fan base is so stoked to see their creators like getting together and working on stuff. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
super fun.
As much as the bass world is small, it's also huge.
Yeah, and it's growing. I mean, the bass voice is becoming more commercial, you know, which is really exciting to see.
About damn time.
Yeah. And hopefully Bobby and I will see you in October when we come over to LA.
Heck yeah.
Great chatting with you, Joe. Thanks so much. This is actually good. There's gonna be a quick turnaround on this episode because I haven't recorded a podcast in a while. So this will probably come out like next week sometime if I can make it happen.
Heck yeah, buddy. Cool. I look forward to it.
Posted. Great chatting with you. Great meeting you. Looking forward to meeting you in person sometime soon.
I love it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
See ya.
All right. See you later.
I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with the great Joe Santoni. If you did, I am sure you will love this conversation with another bass legend, Jeff Castellucci. Go on. If you haven't watched it yet, I know you want to.